Hey guys, so I'm happy to say we're back with Sector 3 today, and the patch is live in game. It is completely back to what we expect for Conquest, okay? So stop banging your head against the wall and definitely get in there, get your battles done, try salvage. I know it's been a couple of days, but it's definitely going to be doable to get through this now. Okay. That being said, we'll go over Sector 3, we'll go over the feats. I did go back. Some of these videos are prefix and some are postfix, so I'll let you know what's what. It will be insanely obvious that it will work because if it worked prefix, it's going to work postfix. Everything is considerably smoother. Some of the modifiers on the bosses have even been tweaked. The wording is the same on them, like the naming, but the actual modifier itself has been changed in terms of what it does. So, like I said, we'll go over that and that will be good. But actually, before I even hop in, before we even get to the Patreons and everything, before I forget, the Bad Batch node in Sector 1 has been adjusted speed-wise. It is back to what it has usually been. It is much slower. So if you're working on ewoks, they will work there. Your Phoenix will work there. Your Wookiees will work there. If you need to do those global feats, by all means, go to Sector 1. It's going to be considerably easier now. It's much more manageable and you'll be very happy. Okay. So before we go into the feats, though, I do want to say thank you to my patrons. I obviously super appreciate you guys. It's been a ton of fun hanging with you on the Discord server and just, having feedback back and forth of what we're all working on. Are we hoarding energy because there's a chase event coming up and things like that? So that's just great. Very, very much appreciated. Okay. Let's look at these feats though. Sector 3. This is actually pretty straightforward because a lot of this has been directly pulled from the last set. We have inflict doubt on enemies 60 times. This is similar to last time. Okay, so last time we have returned 60 times, which is the buff that your Sith Empire characters will get when doubt expires. This time we're doing inflicting doubt. So that is from Malgus's big hit. It is a single target doubt and it is a ridiculously high cooldown. So it is annoying. If you have Malgus and Afra is going to be significantly faster because she can do it as an AoE with one of her specials. So you can get 5 off, 6 off, depending if you're going against a team with summons, per battle minimum. If you're using Afra. If you're using Malgus, it is going to be considerably slower. So just keep that in mind because again, it is single target. Okay. Defeat 10 enemies with Princess Kneesa. Very straightforward. It is only 10, so this is pretty fast. Win 14 battles with a full squad of resistance characters. Again, very straightforward. There's nothing really that crazy about it. And then attempt to inflict Stagger 60 times. We had to do this last time as well. In this exact sector, while we were doing We Have a Return. So these can double dip pretty nicely. But let's look at the gameplay. And again, I'll let you know what's prefix and what's postfix. It should be obvious because it is painfully much more difficult prefix. All right. So let's start with a pretty basic one. I'm going to go against that Mon Mothma squad I just showed you, and I'm going to do Princess Kneesa. So you can see I already have 5 with her. I guess going against Mon Mothma or basically a team that's got a revive, these are the discs that I have equipped. I pretty much just have a mishmash of somewhat strong discs because this is currently still broken at the time that I was recording this. So I was just trying to slog my way through. But my idea was to go in, take Jedi Master Luke, Wat to force the taunt, obviously Princess Kneesa, Shock, and then Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker. The reason why I'm taking Jedi Knight Luke instead of a different Jedi is just because it is a Mon Mothma node and it was broken. Conquest was, ridiculously overpowered and all that fun stuff at the time. I just wanted to have somebody with an AoE stun to kind of control them a little bit more, but I wanted to go against Mon Mothma specifically because I wanted to be able to take advantage of the revives here so that Kneesa could get as many kills in as possible. Obviously, I only need 5 because I tried this on a different node earlier on. But if you're going in trying to get all 10 in one shot, it's pretty reliable. And I would think that you would be able to do all 10 one shot, no problem. And the idea is really simple and straightforward. You're going to give the force taunt to Luke from Watt. He's going to kind of handle all of the hits. There are obviously a few AoEs here that can happen. My Kneesa's only gear 11 though. She's 5-star, gear 11, and she has whatever leftover mods on her. So she's not that stellar, and she's able to kind of just hang out and sit there and take it. So Luke's going to taunt. I like to do an AoE just to kind of ability block whenever I can with him. But every time with the Jedi, you are going to call Kneesa to assist and have her get the kills that way. And then with Jedi Knight Luke specifically, I did try to do the AoE stun if I felt like I really needed to get some more control. This node is perfect though because it has Scarif Rebel Pathfinder on it. So he's going to revive every time he has a buff. I was really careful not to use Shock's basic on him because she will dispel the buff and then he won't revive. So you just want to keep that in mind. And anytime he didn't have a buff, I tried to attack someone else. And then once we got through, we killed everyone off and we finished the Kneesa kills feat. And that is that. Super straightforward. Okay, guys, so let's have a look now at resistance and stagger. So again, this was when it was still broken. So obviously I still have the same discs equipped because it's just a mishmash of whatever. This is on the Professor X account. And I wanted to show you this one specifically because he does not have Rey. So we're going to use a JTR team. I have a bounty hunter team here on the challenge path that I'm going to go against. Rey is pretty nice against the bounty hunters I found, even with Conquest being broken. So it works pretty straightforward. You're just going to take your JTR lead, BB-8, I like R2, and then the bros. I like to take the bros together just because I feel like they play off each other really well. But Resistance Hero Poe also has a stagger on his first special. So it is a single target, but since you have to do 14 wins with a full Resistance team anyway, you might as well bring him along and see if you can get some staggers off while you're here. If you don't, then that's that, and we can go forward with other teams. But if you're doing this feat anyway, I don't see why you wouldn't bring Poe and try to have him use that special there for you and work towards that feat at the same time. So full squad and you're done with them. Okay, so shifting a little bit, now we can look at stagger in conjunction with doubt. So obviously here I have nothing towards the feats, just so that you're aware of what page we're on. But we're going to work on this with a Sith Empire squad. So this is on the Professor X account as well. And you can take in a full Sith Empire team. And obviously you can get Stagger done with Fallen Bastilla. And Doubt is only going to come from Malgus again from his special. And it is single target. So I would recommend finding a first order node for this if you do want to try to speed up this process of getting doubt done. Essentially, you're going to do Malgus's big hit. He's going to inflict doubt on whoever you decide to target. And with Fallen Bastilla, you'll be able to do her AoE and inflict stagger if she, takes a turn. So it's this far right special that inflicts doubt, and then her special to inflict stagger. Nothing too crazy. Obviously, my discs are creating the team to die off pretty quickly. But if you can find a team, a first order team, and believe it or not, on both accounts, my own account and the Professor X account, I did not find a single first order node. But if you can go against crew and you can actually just take off your offensive ramping discs, and if you want to leave the dots on, it's fine because they're not going to do anything to him. You'll be able to go against crew repeatedly, that you'll cycle back around to be able to get that special off from Malgus more than once and get more than one doubt in per round. So you can speed it up that way. Otherwise, This is another team that I would use as well if you're going to go against the Datacron node, which is the Night Sister node here that everyone has access to. You've got Stagger from Fallen Bastilla and from Mara Jade, so you're going to get through that feat a little bit faster since they're both AoEs. Again, Malgus is the only person that can give doubt out, and it is single target, but because you're going against the Night Sister node, you do have the opportunity for revives, so I was purposely ignoring Daka here just in case she wanted to eventually take a turn and revive anyone for me to kind of slow play this and possibly get another doubt off. So this is post fix. Not that I think it really makes a difference, but post fix just for all intents and purposes, and it's nice and clear for you. And then that way, everyone has access to this node. You can get some datacrons. It'll still be grindy, unfortunately, because it is such a long cooldown to get back around. But if you do get some revives in, you can hopefully get off at least more than one per round. But first order node for sure is, in my opinion, the way to go to get more doubt off per go. Okay, so that is that. And now let's look at the mini boss. So you need to do 2 feats here, winning with Zorii surviving and winning with no Jedi, Sith, unaligned Force users. I wanted to try bounty hunters here because of what this modifier was before. It specifically said that you could not debuff Vader or Wampa. Because you couldn't debuff them, I figured a Bossk lead would be good because you gain health and protection back whenever the enemy resists any debuffs. So I figured that would help keep us alive a little bit here, which is why I wanted to go with a bounty hunter team specifically. That's why I don't have Zorii tagging along and why I'm not trying the Bam Han Chewy cheese here. All of those fun reasons. Once I went in, though, I realized very quickly that I could debuff them, and that was not the case earlier. So obviously bounty hunters work. They work very quickly, as you can see here, and you can debuff them. So they have changed the modifier on the Sector 3 mini boss, and that was kind of like my first tip off here. So with that being said, I figured I would go right back in now that I know it's changed and try Bam Han Chewy to see if it would work. And it should work because we know we can debuff them. And because of that, we know that Zorii can tag along. So you could do this 2 ways. You could do Bam Han Chewy here, have Zorii tag along, and you would get credit for both feats in one go, since Zorii is not a Jedi, Sith, or unaligned Force user. Or you could do a full resistance squad if you wanted to have a tick towards your 14 wins and have her tag along there. I would probably do that, especially if you have a weak Zorii, if you have Galactic Legend Rey, because you could keep her alive that way. Otherwise, I would probably go this route because, as you can see, it's pretty smooth sailing. Okay, and finally, I want to show you the boss, which is an Ewok team, and they have this lovely modifier, booby traps, so they can stun you on out-of-turn attacks. I did still want to try Bam Han Chewy here, though, believe it or not. So these are the discs that I still have on. And I figured I would try it with Scout Trooper surviving. That is one of the feats that we need to get done. The second one is to win with Dr. Aphra surviving, which I unfortunately can't show you because I don't have her. However, you could theoretically put both of them on the squad and win that way with both of them surviving. So you can see my Scout Trooper, 4-star, gear 11, nothing crazy, leftover mods on her as well. So again, nothing too overpowered. All right, so that being said, I'm going to speed it up because it does take a little bit since they do stun me a few times. But honestly, we're not really ever in danger, which is kind of wild. So what I did was I did open the turn order little widget on the right there, because that way I could kind of keep an eye on which Ewoks had the most turn meter, and that way I would be able to remove turn meter efficiently, hopefully, and be able to manage the team better that way and kind of try to prevent them from taking a turn here as much as possible. The really good thing with this squad as well is because my scout trooper is one of the weakest ones, she is going to get guard, which means she's getting all of those bonuses from Chewie, giving her guard that way. So it gives like just a tiny bit of extra survivability to her, which makes this feat a little bit easier to get done. Obviously, there's a ton of health consumables available as well that we got in that make goods. So if you really needed to add one, you could. I didn't though, and as you can see, it worked really nicely, even with the stuns. Okay, guys, that is Sector 3. It is done. Considerably easier now that we've got the fix going on. I am going to go back and try to get those feats on the Sector 2 bosses for you. Hopefully I can put that video really quickly today as well, just as like a standalone, and just that way you can see it. But it is significantly easier now. It's just night and day. So hopefully this is all helpful. I would love to know what you guys are using as well, because I know a lot of us are using different teams, different ways to get these feats done, which is great, because if something works for me, it might not necessarily work for another person in terms of how their roster is built, etc., or what discs they have, all that fun stuff. The other thing I do want to mention, if you have not done it already, before I forget, there is a sort of like make good pack in the store available. Don't get it from the web store, get it from your in-game store, where you will get a free 120 Conquest energy when you claim that pack. That pack triggers the make good to your inbox if you have not already claimed it, where you get an additional 120 energy, some consumables, Clone Wars Chewie shards, etc. So take that, and then you'll get 240 energy, essentially. What I would do is claim the 120 energy from the store first, spend it so that your natural energy regeneration is still happening that way while you're doing your battles. Then go to your inbox and claim that pack again. That way you get the 120 energy from there and spend it again. Otherwise, you're going to go over your cap and your regeneration is going to stop. So just a little tidbit on what I would do personally, but do as you will. And you have 7 days, 1 week to claim that energy. So keep that in mind as well. You don't want to forget about it and then have it expire. Okay, guys, I will see you tomorrow for Sector 4. Hopefully 4 and 5. I'm going to try and get them out in the same day for you so we can get through this as quickly as possible. But I'm sure it's going to be a lot smoother for all of us now. Thanks for watching.